everyone, and thanks for joining us for the Netherlands Awakens Week. My name is Marije, and I'm very happy to welcome you to the virtual tour at the Johan Cruijff Arena in Amsterdam, for most people also known as the home of top football club Ajax. So this virtual experience is part of the Tiqets Awakening Week's a 6-week celebration of the reopening of over 100 museums and attractions in 6 countries around the world. These venues have worked day and night to reimagine their experiences and introduce new hygiene measures to make it safe for you to visit again. And now these venues are rolling out the welcome mat with these online experiences for those who aren't able or willing to travel yet, but still want to experience and reawaken cultural institutions worldwide. Now we will start the experience at the Johan Cruijff Arena very soon now, but as people are still joining us, I will kick us off by sharing some logistical info about what to expect and how to use the Zoom. If you have any questions for the presenters, you can, or presenter in this case, you can submit them through the Q&A button at the bottom in the center of your Zoom window. So you will have the opportunity to ask questions at the end of the presentation. So feel free to send them through and we will try to answer as many as possible at the end of the presentation. And you can also vote for your favorite questions by giving a thumbs up so we can ask the best questions first. This is a Zoom webinar, so your camera will not be on, but you can use the chat to communicate with fellow attendees and the speakers. So you can, for instance, share where you are joining us from, or just leave your reactions during the sessions by using the chat to message all panelists and attendees. If you have any technical difficulties, please use the chat to send a message to all panelists and we will try to help you out as soon as possible. And if you have trouble with your audio from home, usually just leaving the meeting and then rejoining again is often the easiest way to fix that problem. Then finally, this presentation will be recorded and we will be sending the recordings to all the registrants in the coming weeks. So basically this is it from my end, and without further ado, I'm happy to hand over to our host for this virtual experience, Roy, who is about to share with us the best stories and also show you the coolest views of the Johan Cruijff Arena. So Roy, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Marije, and welcome to all the guests who are online now for this virtual tour through the arena. My name is Roy, guys. I've been working here in this beautiful stadium for about 20 years, and the stadium is now officially being called, and that's why I'm going to tap my screen to the other side, the Johan Cruijff Arena. In my opinion, the most beautiful stadium name in the world, due to the legacy of Johan Cruijff, one of the best football players ever in the world, especially here in the Netherlands, at Ajax, our famous club. We are now in front of our club shop, in front of our main entrance. And we just released this statue about a month ago, to give our honor and respect to the biggest legend of Dutch football of all time, Johan Cruijff. And once again, we are very happy that the stadium now has his name, the Johan Cruijff Arena. So once again, welcome. Again, my name is Roy. I'm going to take you on this tour inside the Johan Cruijff Arena. I'm going to show you all the highlights inside the stadium. I do it in this old-fashioned way with my earphones, with my camera. I hope everybody can see and hear what I'm telling you, and that you will enjoy this virtual tour. We're now getting into the main entrance of the stadium, where we can see. I will show you the visitors who are waiting for the next tour. Everybody keeps the distance of a meter and a half, and tour guides are welcoming people from all around the world, like I do on this virtual way. Okay. So I'm going to bring you inside. And of course, once again, this is a bust of Johan Cruijff. Beautiful pictures and memories of Johan Cruijff in this stadium. And I hope you all know who Johan Cruijff is, by the way. Once again, as I said before, Johan Cruijff is the best football player ever in the Netherlands. And my father even says the best football player ever in the world, because he's from that generation. I guess I need to believe them, believe him in that. Others say it's Maradona, Pele, Beckenbauer, George Best, Messi, Ronaldo nowadays. but for us, it's Johan Cruijff once again. And yeah, great example of his legacy is in our museum by the end of the tour. By the end of the tour, I will bring you into the Ajax Museum, where you can see all the trophies of the club. Many of these trophies are won in the early 70s when Johan Cruijff was our captain of the team. For example, Ajax won 3 European Cups in a row in 71, 72, and 73. Ajax won the now called Champions League. Yeah, that's a great achievement for a Dutch team, I guess. In total, we have 4 Champions League right now. The last one is won in the year 1995. It's a great memory for me, for my childhood. Memory I will never forget. And especially because of the team, like in the 70s, had so many youth players from our famous academy, players like in 95, Patrick Kluivert, Clarence Seedorf, Edgar Davids, Frank Rijkaard, and in the 70s, next to Cruijff, we had Piet Keizer, Sjaak Zwart, very famous football players from that era. I'm now going to take you into the dressing room of the opponent team. By this narrow way, we're going to enter the dressing room of the opponent team once again. Later on, of course, I will bring you into the dressing room of the home team. You see some shirts already, probably. Shirts of famous players who used to be in this room. Let me walk to the Ronaldo shirt from the Juventus team in the year 2019 when they played here with Juventus against Ajax, of course, for the Champions League. A beautiful campaign for us in the year 2019, where we even reached the semi-finals again. It was a long, long time ago. And please, guys, don't ask any questions about that semi-final in the Q&A later on, if you don't mind, because it all ended up in a nightmare. But the campaign itself was beautiful. Maybe some of you will remember games we played away in Bernabeu in the stadium of Real Madrid versus Real Madrid. And we won there with 1-4 with some beautiful goals and beautiful football. Anyway, this is the dressing room of the opponent team, as I just said. It's quite spacious, as you can see. We have 30 seats. The same number as in the Ajax dressing room. We also have, of course, showers. And over here, a home trainer. There's a nice bath for the players if they have muscle injuries. It's all a little bit old-fashioned. I have to be honest, the decoration in this room is quite missing. And that's what we added, of course, in the home team dressing room, the Ajax dressing room. But that's also basically the only difference. So if you look just to the facilities, to the square meters, the number of seats, the number of showers, it's actually the same as in the Ajax dressing room. The only thing extra in the Ajax dressing room, once again, and I will show you in a minute, is decoration. It's way more beautiful, I have to say. But this gives you an impression of the away team dressing room. One very famous shirt for if we have visitors here online from Real Madrid who support Real Madrid. They might remember Predrag Mijatovic. He was one of the goal scorers, not the only goal scorer actually, in the Champions League final of 1998. It's a long time ago, but that Champions League final was here in Amsterdam in this beautiful arena. And Real Madrid won 1-0 against Juventus. For us as Ajax fans, it was also a very special final because 2 of our former players played in that final against each other. Homegrown boys as Clarence Seedorf, he was playing for Madrid in 98, versus Edgar Davids, who was playing for Juventus in 98. They both came back into their hometown, Amsterdam, to play this Champions League final. In 2013, we played the final of the Europa League in this stadium, Chelsea versus Benfica. Chelsea had the better on Benfica, 2-1, and one of the goals was scored by Fernando Torres. So you see his shirt right there. And actually, we are now preparing for the Euro 2020 tournament. As you might know, we're going to host we are one of the host stadiums of the Euro 2020. And it's going to be in 2021 because of the coronavirus, of course. You all understand that. Next year, we will play 4 games in this stadium for the Euro 2020 tournament. 3 of the games are home games for the Netherlands in the group stage. We were going to face Austria and Ukraine, for example, and we will have a round of 16 game in this stadium. And therefore, your away team dressing room, to give an example, needs to be the exact same as the dressing room for the home team. And once again, that's where I'm gonna bring you right now. I hope you're still okay, guys. You can all listen to the information, and I hope my voice is loud enough and clear enough for you. This is the area where we have some pictures from players who played here before, who all wore the Ajax shirt, and they all became very famous, especially after they left Ajax. This is Wesley Sneijder. He has a record in the Netherlands in the way of playing caps for the national team, 134. That's the record in the Netherlands. This is, of course, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Yes, he played here when he was very young. He came over from Malmö in Sweden, and like a player that not many people knew by then, as well as Luis Suarez. I won't get too close because he might bite my finger off, if you understand what I mean. But still, of course, one of the best strikers in Europe right now. My personal favorite right here, guys, Dennis Bergkamp. If you understand what an Ajax supporter likes to see and wants to see, it's brilliance. It's beautiful football. It's lovely goals, great first touches. And Dennis Bergkamp, in that matter, is my all-time favorite. Because if he scored a goal, it was always a wonderful goal. Viewers, if you don't know Dennis Bergkamp because of your younger age, no problem, but go to YouTube after this tour and type in Dennis Bergkamp, and you will know exactly what I mean. For me, Dennis Bergkamp is one of the most beautiful players that ever played for our club. Of course, Marco van Basten, the best striker of all time in the Netherlands. He scored the winning goal in the Euro 88 tournament. Holland against Russia in '88. Once again, he scored the winning goal in the final. Beautiful, beautiful strike. One of the most popular Ajax players of all time is probably Jari Liedmanen. He's like a myth to us. It's a player we don't see that often anymore, but he's incredibly popular. To give you an example, his first name is Jari, typical name from Finland, but a name that never was used in the Netherlands for any kid until the year 94. In the year 94, it was his breakthrough, and it became one of the most popular boy names in this region. Not only in the 90s, but still today, many kids are born with the first name Jari due to this great legend, Jari Liedmanen. Believe me or not, but my neighbor's cat is also called Jari. Of course, the latest, and not the least, is Johan Cruijff, once again, the big legend I told you about before. We're now passing the Players' Tunnel. I promise you to come back here very soon, but as I promised, we first go to the Ajax dressing room. In the meantime, we will pass the mix zone area where the players have an interview. Right there, you can see a screen with all the background, all the sponsors that Ajax has, as well as our main sponsor, Ziggo. It's a phone and internet company in the Netherlands. So here's where the players get an interview just after the game. On the other side, you can see our beautiful logo. This is, in my opinion, the second best logo ever in the world. This is the very best logo ever in the world. Traditional Ajax logo we used the longest time in our history. From 1928 until 1992, we used this logo. And because of this logo was too difficult and too detailed for merchandising, they changed the logo in 92 to a more modern or simple version of the logo. There's a very, very funny detail on the logo. We have 11 lines on the logo. If you count the lines, you count 11 lines, 11 players. Wonderful. But the stars above the logo are even more wonderful for me. Every star represents 10 league titles. So we have won the league title 10, 20, 30 times. To be exact, 34 times. So we have 34 league titles of the Netherlands. PSV Eindhoven is the number 2 in the Netherlands. They have 24 league titles, great achievement as well. But there's a gap of 10 league titles. That means if the distance between each other, between the two clubs, remain the same the following years, Ajax will have the 4th star sooner than PSV has the 3rd star. Very important for the fans, of course. The traditional logo, as well as the name, comes from the Greek mythology. Our founders, they were inspired about the Greek mythology, and they gave the name of the unbeatable warrior, Ajax in Greek. It's formed to Ajax in the Netherlands. They gave the name of the unbeatable warrior to this great club. And Ajax was the unbeatable warrior. That's also the face you see inside the logo. That's not the first logo. The first 2 logos are right over here. The very first logo of the club is from the year 1900, the year that the club was founded. Very simple logo. And the big difference with the second logo right here is basically the shirt. The old logo and the second logo. The second logo, we introduced that already in 1911. So 11 years after we were founded. Reason is, Ajax made their promotion to the highest division in the Netherlands, the now called Eredivisie. And there was already a team in the exact same shirt. That team is called Sparta Rotterdam. We played them last Sunday, coincidentally. It's also a very traditional club like Ajax. We both have a Greek name. We both have the same rival. And we both shared our shirt for 11 years without knowing about that. So in 1911, we introduced the beautiful white, red, and white combination shirt. The shirt we still play in nowadays. It's never changed anymore. And that's beautiful, and that makes the shirt very iconic. Last April, there was a worldwide vote by France Football Magazine, and they voted the Ajax shirt as the most iconic shirt in the world. Something to be very, very proud of as a fan. Once again, as I promised, we now go to the Ajax dressing room. Let me open the door for you. I hope you're still okay, guys. Let me make this moment special for you by changing the camera into the dressing room. Oops. Yeah, there we go. What I said, the big difference with the room of the opponent team is that this room is full of decoration. This room is way more pretty than the dressing room for the opponent team. Nevertheless, as I said before, the facilities in this room are actually the same. It's a different shape, a different form, but the square meters is exact same, as well as the number of seats, as well as the number of showers. I will show you the bathroom as well. There's a big video screen right there. We can also add it into the away team dressing room, but then it's a retractable one. It's the showers right here. And here, over here, it looked like very relaxing jacuzzis, but believe me, guys, especially, it's a cold tub. It's very, very cold. And oh man, believe me, you don't want to sit in there, except when you have a muscle injury. So you recover sooner from your muscle injury. But you all understand it's very cold and you don't want to sit there in there. In our former dressing room, we used to have, until the year 2014, there used to be a sauna, a Turkish steam bath, a whirlpool inside this dressing room as well. That was in the time that Ajax trained here on a daily basis. So all the players were here on a daily basis to enjoy, in between two training sessions, facilities like the sauna and the Turkish steam bath. Nowadays, the players are only here on a match day. And after the match, it's basically they take a shower and they go home, or they go to the bar or anything like that. On a daily basis, the players are now at our famous youth academy. Once again, it's one of the best youth academies in the world. And it's also by far our most important department of the club. So that's where the first team players are on a daily basis. And they do have these facilities as a sauna and Turkish steam bath right there. Our youth academy is only 1 kilometer away from here. So it's like a 10-minute walk to the youth academy. So it's quite near to this stadium. And now zoom into a few names of players. You might recognize a few of them. Some of the names are empty, and that is because the players who used to be here are now, unfortunately, gone. Like this spot over here next to Nicolas Tagliafico. This used to be the spot of our own, one guy of our own, Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek now left to Manchester United, as you might know. Unfortunately, he's not in our team anymore, but we wish him all the best, of course. And guys, if you support Man United, please enjoy Donny van de Beek. He's wonderful. And again, he's one of these products from the Ajax Academy. As we used to have the last few years with Matthijs de Ligt, Frenkie de Jong, a lot of players still in this dressing room as well are from our youth academy. And I can't promise you anything, but one player in particular I like to point out, that's here, number 29, Ryan Gravenberg. This new season, he will play with number 8, if I'm not wrong. Ryan Gravenberg is very promising. He's still a very young talent. Probably you never heard of him right now, except when you're from the Netherlands. But if not, believe me, he's gonna be a top star player in the future. Of course, you never know how a career ends and how a career goes, but his future looks very bright for him. We have the return son, Daley Blind, returned back from Man United. Thank you, Mourinho, for sending Daley back to us, because this is where he belongs. This is where his house is. He also is one of the players from our academy from a very early start, from 7 years old. He came into the club like Cruijff did, like his father, Danny Blind, did. Well, he was a little bit older when he came to Ajax, but Danny Blind, the father of Daley Blind, is a true legend for the club as well. Why? Because he's the only player in Europe that won every single trophy you can win as a club team. That's called the Big Five, the 5 international trophies. And I'm about to tell you about that in a minute. Have a close watch on our goalkeeper as well, Andre Onana. I think he's already top 5 goalkeeper in Europe right now. I hope he stays with Ajax for a long time, but I'm afraid we're going to lose him as well, because all these players in this dressing room, they dream one day for playing in the Premier League, in the Primera Division, in Serie A, or the Bundesliga, the 4 big leagues in Europe, of course. So we can't keep them for a long, long time, although we wish they do. But salary is a big thing, and of course also the strength of the league. I'm going to close the dressing room right now. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm now going to bring you into the Ajax Museum to see all the trophies. And of course, last but not least, during this tour, I'm going to show you the inside of the stadium, the pitch, the stands, and the fantastic stadium from the inside. First, we're going to pass the parking. This is usually where the players park their cars. No players today, unfortunately, because as I said before, the players are all at the youth academy on a daily basis. Actually, where you can see the camera right now, it's where the players come in usually. There was a big party last year over there. It was called a rooftop party. Again, go to YouTube, type in rooftop party Ajax, and you will see a spontaneous celebration between the fans and the players after the last home game. It was a very, very special moment, and a moment that's been captured by many fans all around the world who know about it. If you don't, once again, go to rooftop party Ajax on YouTube, and you will see that. It's like a very alternative way to get into the museum. Very rusty door, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, brings us into the museum in no time. You will hear some music in the meantime. So still, I hope you can hear me clearly. But here we get into the trophy room, and you see the Big 5 trophies. As mentioned before, Ajax is one of the few teams that won every single trophy as a club team. We call it the Big 5. We've got the Cup Winners' Cup right here. In Holland, it's called Europa Cup 2, European Cup 2, but internationally more known as Cup Winners' Cup. Then we've got Champions League number 1, won in the year 71, the second one in 72. I'll get back to the World Cups later on, because I'm first going to go to the Champions League trophy of the year 1973. Now, this is a very special one. Why? Because back in those days, if you won this trophy for the 3rd time in a row, you can keep the original one. Usually, you get the Champions League original cup just with the celebration. And then the same night, the Champions League gets back with the UEFA to Switzerland, and you get a replica cup instead. But if you win it 3 times in a row, or 5 times in total, you can keep the original trophy. This one from 1973 is the original trophy. Next to it, the replica from 95. The last trophy right here is the UEFA Cup. It's now called the Europa League. And of course, over here, the European Super Cup. The 5 trophies you can win as a club team. Ajax is one of the just 4 teams in Europe that won the Big 5. The others are Juventus, Manchester United, and Bayern Munich. Those 4 clubs have the Big 5. I know it's way more important to have the Champions League, like for example, Real Madrid won for 13 times. Of course, they are by far the biggest club in the world. So, Danny Blind, once again, guys, is the only player who has won the Big 5 with one club, and of course, that club is Ajax. You see some beautiful other historical moments right here, like the Dutch Champions trophies. We have got 34, as I mentioned before. The one of 2011 right here is a little bit busted, as you can see. In the year 2011, everybody was so euphoric during the celebration of this trophy that one of our players dropped this trophy out of the team bus. It fell on the floor. The bus even drove over the trophy. So it's that's a reason why it's busted. But that's also how you can see that that's the real trophy from the year 2011. So I hope you are a little bit impressed by this all these beautiful cups and beautiful moments that the club used to have. Actually, over here, this is actually where it all started. In the years 1966, they played against Liverpool in the so-called fog game, FOG, don't get me wrong. The game was played in the mist in the Olympic Stadium back then. And that was actually the breakthrough for Ajax. We won that game against Liverpool with 5-1. And then Ajax and the Netherlands and maybe even the world or Europe realized Ajax is a new top team coming through in Europe. And it all started in '66. Of course, not coincidentally, the period that also Johan Cruijff made this breakthrough in the team of Ajax. That's why, once again, guys, Johan Cruijff is an absolute legend for the club. And we are so happy that the stadium now has the name Johan Cruijff Arena. Especially because many stadiums around us in Europe, maybe yours as well, is called after a sponsor. Well, of course, it brings a lot of money into the club. But I think every football fan would rather have the name of the biggest icon of the club on their building. That's what we have with Johan Cruijff Arena. Now, guys, I will walk back same way as we came from the parking lot into the stadium. And in a minute, it's about time to see the stadium from the inside. Once again, I hope you can still hear me. The audio hopefully is good enough, as well as the video. In a minute, when we get into the stadium, there is a small event going on inside with presentations and things like that. So it might be possible that somebody is using the microphone, or you might hear some music. I hope it's not too annoying. And if it is, I'll walk back inside. We get back to the mix zone area right here. Walk forward to the players tunnel. Over there you can see our current CEO of the club, the general manager of the club, Edwin van der Sar, lifting the trophy back then as a goalkeeper together with the captain Jari Liedmanen I mentioned before. Once again, Edwin van der Sar is now the CEO of the club. The technical manager of the club is also a former player from the '95 team, Mark Overmars. Mark Overmars used to play for Arsenal, Barcelona, and of course Ajax. So two legends in our board. Right over here, again, you can see the UEFA Cup win in '92 against Torino. In 1987, the Cup Winners' Cup win over Lokomotiv Leipzig. The 4 Champions League trophies, again, 3 in a row. 71, 72, 73, the last one in '95. And on the other side, the European Super Cup and the World Cup. We won the World Cup twice. First time in '72. '72 was also a very special year because we won 5 trophies in 1 year. Not only the World Cup, but also the Champions League, of course, the European Super Cup, the National League title, and the National Cup. So that the Dutch FA Cup. 5 trophies in 1 year is quite incredible. So you could really say that Ajax by that time, in that specific year, was the best team in the world. As well as in '95, where we also won the Champions League, the World Cup, the European Super Cup, and the National League title. Once again, it's about time to see the stadium from the inside. You can see the signage of Johan Cruijff Arena here on the steps. You can see the players are ready to make their debut inside the Johan Cruijff Arena. Well, it's not their debut, but I'm pretty sure it's yours. You see the players are waiting for each other, waiting for the referee to give a sign to enter the stadium. That's what I'm going to do right now. So enjoy this moment. And let me welcome you once again into the beautiful Johan Cruijff Arena, where you see the name Ajax on the opposite side. Let me step aside from the big lights on the grass. They're actually here to let the grass grow in an optimal way. Enjoy. Thank you, Daniela, with the great view. It is a great view indeed. You see the big screens. And what you didn't see yet, let me focus onto the roof because it's open today. As you might know, guys, the stadium has a retractable roof. Back in 1996, we were the first stadium in Europe with a retractable roof. The first stadium where you can either open or close the roof. We close the roof still nowadays, of course, when it's necessary. It's necessary when the weather gets really extreme or when we host a concert. This is a stadium that's been made for not just football, but also for big concerts like we host usually in the summer, except for this year, because this year everything is different, as you understand. In the months of June and July, we usually have concerts, and then we close the roof in 18 minutes. In 18 minutes, the roof is fully shut. Well, let's get back to football right now, because I think that's where your interest is, at least mine. You can see the beautiful red seats over here. Some of you might be in the stadium before, I don't know. Until 3 years ago, the stadium had a complete different look from the inside. Basically, the seats have been changed 3 years ago to a fresh red seat, of course, in the color of Ajax. You can also see the sign of Amsterdam, the 3 crosses, that's a sign of Amsterdam, the beautiful logo and the name of Ajax inside. The seats we used to have before looked like let's say like a rainbow. We had seats in the color green, blue, orange, etc. Now we're going to be disturbed by some music about the small event on the other side of the stadium. I'm sorry about that. I hope it won't be too annoying for you and you can still understand it and hear it. I now walk to the south side of the stadium where we have the stand for our most fanatic fans. They call themselves, and maybe you can see it on the banner in between, Ajax F side. The F side is the area where we have the fanatic fans of Ajax, and they have a standing area. To re-allow standing areas in the Netherlands, all rows need to have an iron bar in front. So that's what you see in front of each row, an iron bar, let's say to protect them from falling all the way down if they cheer for a goal or they dance and shout for during the game. So this, once again, guys, is a standing area and it's called the F side. On the other side of the stadium, we have the away area for 2,000 fans. In Holland, that's actually always enough, especially in this period, of course. This Sunday, we play our next home game. Our next home game, we will face RKC Waalwijk. With all respect, not a big team in the Netherlands, but at least they're in the Eredivisie. And we can re-allow 15,000 people inside again. First game of the league. It's going to be very excited, I think, especially because of all the corona measures. But we will allow 15,000 people inside. Usually, we can have 56,000 people inside. That's the capacity inside the stadium during a football game, 56,000. When we have a concert, once again, usually we have them in June and July, we can have up to 68,000 people inside. But 56 is the capacity during football. And only a small percentage of the seats will be used this Sunday for the first game of the season. The noise is getting louder and louder right now, so I'm going to bring you back inside when we have the opportunity for the Q&A. In the meantime, we have the dugout of the opponent team right here. We're going to reconstruct them because the seats are going to the left side from where I film right now to keep distance between every substitute player or trainer. We did it at the Ajax bench already. You can see the seats are a bit further outside from each other to keep distance. Of course, a very important measure during this corona time. One of the corona measures. So I hope you enjoyed it inside the stadium. Yes.
I think, I mean, for me, the sound was quite good. So if you, and I'm not sure if the audience experienced it the same way, but maybe it is, I think, a good place to do the Q&A in the stadium.
Let's go back there.
I can see some comments here that the sound is okay. So
okay, great. No,
and it's a very nice view. So let's
it is, right?
Let people enjoy the view while we still are live.
All right.
And indeed, I have many questions for you.
Okay, give me
Uh,
a small minute, Marije. In the
that's
meantime, I'll find
fine.
myself a beautiful spot right here. This is what we call the Royal Lounge right there on the terrace just above the signage of Johan Cruijff Arena. I'm going to take my spot right there on the seat where we usually have our general manager, as mentioned before, Edwin van der Sar. And this is probably the best view I can give you today. The sun really shines bright into our stadium.
Well,
Once
for
again, I hope you
sure.
enjoyed.
And looking at the comments in the chat box, I can see that a lot of people really appreciated your tour, and also the knowledge. I mean, you talk with so much passion about this club, your club, I assume. So and for one person, it's like really a trip down memory lane. So
Really?
going way back, really a lot of fun to read and see this. So let's move to the questions.
Yeah.
There's actually one Frankie de Jong in the audience. Not sure if it's the Frankie de Jong, but hey,
I hope so.
you know, hey, you never know.
But
His question is actually, what was your favorite Ajax game in the Johan Cruijff Arena?
Oh, well, I've seen a lot of games, but the one I mentioned before actually in the museum was the game on the 15th of May 2011. Ajax played the last home game of the season against the number 1 by that time, FC Twente. FC Twente was leading the league 2 points ahead on Ajax. So if Twente draw or won, they would have been the champion in our stadium. It never happened before. So Ajax needed to do everything to win that game, to get the 3 points and to be the champion of Holland. And the champion of Holland after 7 years without a championship. That's a long time for every Ajax fan, as you can imagine, because, yeah, well, usually we are used to be champion once in every 2 or 3 years. So 7 years is a long time. And the most important detail of that game is that Ajax won the 30th league title in 2011. And the 30th league title meant the 3rd star. And we were waiting for it for 7 years. And every year, again and again, we were, there was a lot of laughter about Ajax. And we failed a lot of times in the period in between, I have to be honest. But then it all came together on the 15th of May 2011. Seeing Ajax win against Twente with 3-1, good score. But especially the atmosphere in the stadium was really pumping. And since that day, I think the arena is the stadium arena became the Ajax stadium. Sounds a bit strange, but it took a while before the fanatic supporters felt home and welcome in the stadium. But I think that was the turning point. And ever since Ajax, their home games, especially in Europe, are very special. The atmosphere is really pumping here on European nights as Champions League, for example.
All right, very interesting. And
Great.
Then I have another one, which I also find very interesting and would like to know the answer of. Why is red the color of Ajax?
Well, there's no real specific meaning why it's red. Or you can say it's because of the city. The city has the colors red and black, as you can see on the 3 crosses as well. But there's no specific reason why Ajax chose red instead of blue or yellow or green or anything like that, as far as I know, at least.
All right. Another question. How many games have been played in the Johan Cruijff Arena? And I guess that's quite a hard question to answer, but maybe you can still guess.
Well, I'm happy that sometimes you play a game which is historical because of its number. At the 500th game or the 1000th game, we now have about 900. I don't know the exact number, but about 900 official games. That's games of Ajax, but also from the national team that often plays in this stadium. In Holland, we don't have a national stadium like Wembley, for example, in England. But if the national team plays, they prefer to play here. Why? Because it's the biggest stadium. We have great facilities. We are a new, modern stadium. And yeah, it's Amsterdam instead of any other city. I don't want to be foolish on any other city, but of course, sorry, that sounds a little bit arrogant maybe to you, but I don't mean it that way. It's just that they prefer Amsterdam to play because of Schiphol is next door, our airport, so the players don't have to travel too much.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
question about the grass. How many people are responsible for taking care and maintaining the grass as it is?
On a daily basis, we have about 4 people working on this pitch every day, like nearly 24/7. Maybe on the center spot, I can zoom into the. Well, not really working at the moment, but believe me, there's like a small monitor on the center spot of the pitch. It has an iPad inside, and that shows exactly to the groundsman how many energy there is in the pitch, how many water, how many. How firm the grass is, things like that. And he also has his monitor in his bedroom actually, so he can actually control the grass even from his own house. So yeah, there's one groundsman responsible for the pitch, and 3 people work with him to keep this grass in the perfect condition as it is today.
All right. And in case there are concerts given at or in the stadium, how does that work then? How will you protect the grass in some sort, or?
Well, I'm sorry, we can't protect the grass for too long time. We cover the pitch where 18,000 people stand on the grass, 18,000, and of course a heavy stage on the grass as well. So after we take the covering away, if we do it within 48 hours, we won't have that much of damage, and we can actually still play football on it the following days. But if it's covered for more than 48 hours, and that's usually in the months of June and July, a period of about 6 to 8 weeks that we cover the full pitch, we have to change it to a new one. So mostly we play the new season with a new pitch, and it will be in like now till the end of the football season. This pitch has now been here since a year because there were no concerts last summer, and it will be in here until the Euro 2020 tournament, and then probably we're gonna need to change it because of the upcoming concerts, hopefully in the summer of 2021.
All right. Another question. Somebody would like to know, and I remember actually the semifinals in 2019, but and you didn't want to do the deep dive in that one.
Well,
but
yeah,
people
if I
want
have to,
know,
of course.
okay, you
Yeah.
know, let's answer this one then.
Yeah, go ahead.
How did the semifinal in 2019 end?
Well, actually, let me first answer that question to say that Ajax did an incredible job. In the year 2018, Ajax didn't even play European football because of Rosenborg from Norway, with all respect for Rosenborg, had a better on us in qualification. So we didn't play European football because we were knocked out by Rosenborg. Then the year 2019 came, and Ajax was in a group, quite of a tough group, with Bayern Munich, Benfica, and Ajax Athens, after we survived 3 rounds in qualification. So to be in the group stage was already like a dream and a bit unexpected. Especially, we came through the group without losing a game. We draw twice against Bayern Munich. Well, Bayern Munich is by far the best team at the moment. So only a year ago, Ajax wasn't beaten by Bayern and draw twice. So we went on to the round of 16 and faced Real Madrid. And we thought, there's no chance we're going to win against Real Madrid because they won the 3 previous years in the Champions League. The first game was over here at home, and we lost 1-2. And we thought, well, quite a good result. Of course, we didn't win, but at least they didn't beat us with 5 or 6-0, as probably many fans had expected. And then there was the away game in Bernabeu I mentioned before, and we won away in Bernabeu with 1-4. Incredible. It was really like a dream. The next round, Juventus came here. They draw here with 1-1. And then the away game, we won with 1-2 by 2 goals scored by 2 homegrown kids, Donny van der Beek and Matthijs de Ligt. They both came into the club when they were 7, 8, or 9 years old, and they made us and brought us to the semi-final. In the semi-final, we played away in London first at the Spurs Stadium against Tottenham, and we won with 1-0, again with a goal of Donny van der Beek. And then the next game was over here, the home game, and by halftime we were leading 2-0. So 3-0 in total. Well, that was actually the first moment that I realized, and I thought, wow, this team is gonna go to the final. Not only me, but all the 55,000 people inside. They were actually screaming and shouting and crying of fun and of joy that we were actually convinced about going to the final. And then the nightmare came in the very, very last second of the game. We only needed to kick the ball away for one more time, and we were in the final. And we somehow Spurs escaped, with all respect for Spurs. congratulations if there's still Spurs fans online. Nothing but
Yes.
respect for what you did, but for us it was a nightmare.
All right.
Sorry for this long answer, Mirella, but
It's fine.
some
It's
extra
fine.
explanation was needed.
No worries. I just lost connection for a moment there. So, but we can continue. So I know
Yes.
the question was asked already, or no, you answered the question during your tour, but maybe for the people that didn't get that part of your presentation, where does the name Ajax come from?
Yeah, from the Greek warrior Aiades. There was in the Greek mythology, the Greek warrior in the city of Troy, the unbeatable warrior, the unbeatable hero. And his name was Aiades in Greek, and it's formed in Dutch to Ajax. And that's where the name comes from. Our founders, they were really inspired about the Greek mythology. It was also very common in the years that Ajax was founded to give Dutch teams, Dutch football teams, or also other sport teams, Greek names. Like we have Sparta, Ajax, Heracles, Achilles. We have a lot of sport teams in the Netherlands with Greek names, and Ajax was the unbeatable hero. So, yeah, beautiful name for this beautiful club, in my opinion.
Okay. One question from Dirk. How many Ajax players were part of the Holland team when they won the European Championships in '88 against Russia?
Well, basically not that much. I think there was a wonderful period back there for PSV Eindhoven because they won the Champions League in the same year. PSV won the Champions League in '88, their first and only time. But there were a lot of PSV players in the team. But we did have some former Ajax players in the team of '88, like for example Marco van Basten, Gerald Vanenburg. They both came through the academy of Ajax. Ronald Koeman played here for a long time. He's actually one of the few players in the Netherlands who played for both Ajax, Feyenoord, and PSV, so 3 teams actually. And now he's coach of Barcelona, as you know. Let's see if I mention any. Not many more than that, I guess. Rijkaard, of course.
Oh.
Frank Rijkaard. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there were a few, but in the time that they played for the Netherlands in '88, they basically many of them left to the big competitions, like Italy back then in the late '80s and early '90s. I think Italy, the Serie A, was the best competition in the world, with the best team by then, AC Milan, and that's where Rijkaard and Gullit and Van Basten played.
Great. Okay. Then a question from Miranda. When was the stadium built?
Good question, Miranda. We opened the stadium in August 1996. So the stadium is now 24 years old, 24 years and a month to be exact. It's built in 3 years. So we started building in '93. Actually, the first plans of having a big stadium in Amsterdam, they came from the late '80s. Ajax needed a new stadium, but also the city wanted a new stadium to probably host the Olympics in 1992. Amsterdam was in the race, in the running for having the Olympics in 1992. In the end, they went to Barcelona, as some of you might remember. But plans for a new stadium were still there. So we started building in '93 in the end and opened in '96.
Cool. I can remember that moment actually.
Yeah, me too. That was a huge change from the small cozy stadium about 3 kilometers away from here. It was called the Meer. Capacity in there was 19,000. Very cozy, close to the inner town. And we moved to the southeast part of Amsterdam. And as I said before, it took a while before fanatic fans felt home and welcome in the stadium. But as you see the stadium right now, it's really the Ajax stadium. I think not only my opinion.
Then another question from there. Is it true that the electricity in the whole of Amsterdam went off when the roof was first closed?
Sorry, Mireille, I can't hear you right now. Can you repeat your question?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
sorry.
Way better.
Is it true that the electricity in the whole of Amsterdam went off when the roof was first closed after it was finished?
No, that's one of the fairy tales over here. It is somehow true, though. If you very quickly would close the roof, you take so much energy away that there might be a possibility that there's some energy failure in other parts of the city. It never happened, and it will never happen because we take it easy on and close the roof in 18 minutes. But let's say if we would do it in a minute, you use more energy, and there is a possibility that once again you have some energy failure in the city or some other parts of the city. But it never happened.
All right. How many times did Ajax won the Champions League, and how many times have they ever won like a European competition overall?
We won 4 Champions Leagues in total. In the 70s, 3 times in a row. 71, 72, and 73. Back then it was still called the Europa Cup. We won the new called Champions League. It's called Champions League since 93, 92, 93. And we won it in 95. In 96, we were also in the final facing Juventus. Juventus had a better on us in the final, in the penalty shootout, unfortunately. So yeah, we won the Champions League 4 times. And I don't know what you mean with any other European trophies.
Yeah,
but
like
as a club,
or basically won a European competition.
yeah, we won the UEFA Cup in '92 once. We won the European Super Cup 3 times. That's the Champions League winner against the Europa League winner. We won the World Cup twice against Grêmio in '95 and against Independiente in 1972. And we won the Cup Winners' Cup. That's that cup doesn't exist anymore. The cup, I think, stopped in '99. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if you listen to this video. I think Lazio Roma was the last team to win it in '99. And Ajax won it in '87 against Lok Leipzig. So if you count them, it's 4, 6, 9, 11. 11 right. International trophies.
Daniela is asking, who are the white for who are the white seats, and where does the royal family sit when they are joining?
Good question. Well, the white seats on the opposite side of us, where what I film right now, just basically for season ticket holders. So there's no specific somebody on the white seats and others on the reds. But when I stand up and turn around, you can see the Johan Cruijff signage right here, and the terrace above. And that's what we call the Royal Terrace, the Queen's Lounge. That is because of the Queen and the royal family opened the stadium there in 1996. Of course, they are always invited to come to other events inside the stadium. They don't go to football games, basically, and especially not Ajax games because they need to stay neutral, I guess. Although the King seems to be a very big Ajax fan, by the way. But they came a couple of more times after the opening, for example, to concerts. 2 years ago, they were here with a concert of Beyonce and Jay-Z. So our royal family likes R&B and hip-hop. That's quite cool, I guess.
Interesting. Muawat would like to ask, or is asking, what was the first game played here?
There was a friendly game in the opening, during the opening against AC Milan. And the first goal scorer was Savicevic, because Ajax lost the first game in the stadium against Milan, a friendly game once again. And Savicevic was the only goal scorer in the game for Milan.
All right. And have games continued in 2020?
Not yet. We actually started the league last Sunday in an away game versus Sparta Rotterdam. This upcoming Sunday, will be the first home game of the new league. We actually stopped the league in halfway March. As you all know, with the corona outbreak, as well as in Holland, our entire league stopped and it's never been restarted. The Dutch FA sees the league as not played. We didn't have a champion in the Netherlands. We didn't have promotion or relegation from other leagues. So it's like the season was never played, actually. That's quite strange. But that's what the Dutch government and the Dutch Football Association decided. And so we start all over again. We started last Sunday with a win over Sparta. Just 1-0, but okay, gave us 3 points. And now this Sunday we face, once again, RKC Waalwijk with 15,000 people inside.
All right. Then there are 2 questions about the capacity, which you already mentioned, I think, in your presentation. But if you would like to repeat it again for the people who missed it.
Of course, it's 56,000. To be exact, 55,942. I won't count them. but I always say 56,000. And that's the
Yeah.
capacity since this year, because we recently added some new seats in the in each corner. We had an extra section built on both corners. They used to be opened. They are now fully closed. They gave us an extra capacity of about 1,000 seats. And in previous years, we also added some extra rows in front, 5 extra rows in front on this long side of the stadium, also on the opposite side. That brings the supporters much closer to the pitch. So it's much more a football ground, in my opinion. And yeah, that brought us about 5,000 extra seats. So we started in '96 with 51,000 seats. Now it's 56,000.
All right. And then there's another question about if there are any other football clubs in Amsterdam. And I think this person means professional football clubs. Because I can imagine, of course, there are a lot of amateur clubs, but maybe professional football clubs in Amsterdam besides Ajax.
Ajax is actually the only one, and that's quite unique, I guess, for a capital. Amsterdam is, of course, a big capital in Europe, but we actually are the only professional team in Amsterdam, and that is also the reason probably why we have a very strong connection with the city. As you can see the 3 crosses inside the stadium. There are many ways how we show our love to our beautiful city. I hope you have ever been here before. If not, please come over to Amsterdam, because I'm sure you will love it. Not just the stadium, but the city itself is truly wonderful. And also the city loves Ajax, and that's, I think, quite unique. Because if you look to other capitals, many capitals have more than one professional club, so they can't support just one. If you look, for example, to Madrid, they have Atletico and Real, and a few smaller teams like Getafe and Alarcon, things like that. But in Amsterdam, it's just Ajax.
Yeah. All right. And then actually one last question: what was the highest score for a game played in the stadium?
9-0, 9-0. Also, okay. Once again against Sparta. We have a lot of things in common with Sparta, a lot of connection with them. And also the highest score in the stadium was 9-0 against Sparta. And the same score as well, if I'm not wrong, in the year '97 in a UEFA Cup game against VfL Bochum. Maybe some German viewers know this club, VfL Bochum. I remember them with the very ugly shirts, I have to say, with like a rainbow structure on their shirt. Horrible. But anyway, very classic though. And I think the score also was 9-0 or 9-1. I'm not sure about that anymore, but I'm pretty sure that Ajax Sparta 9-0 was the higher score here. I think in the year 2001, about that.
Okay. Well, actually,
right now, so I can't control it. But please control me and correct me if I'm wrong. If you got the right answer.
Well, I think people in the audience really admire your knowledge about this, and like I said before, you talk with so much passion about Ajax and sharing this information. And actually, these were the questions for you, Roy. So first of all, I would like to thank the audience for joining us for this Tiqets Awakening Week's virtual experience. And as mentioned before, all the recordings of our Awakening Week's virtual experience will be shared with you after or in the coming weeks. And if you're in the Netherlands, you can also experience the Netherlands Reawakening in person. So visit the tiqets.com/blog/awakening weeks for information on all our Awakenings weeks around the world, including this one. And then last but not least, I would like to thank you, Roy, and the rest of the team for arranging
Thank you very much, Mireille,
great.
I could take the time to share this. And we really miss you guys, because as you all understand, this is a very quiet period for us as well. So we look forward to welcome many guests from all around the world here in the stadium for, showing this with your own eyes, and you can experience and smell the grass here. So please be welcome and feel free to come over whenever you want. Thanks.
Well, on that note, I think that's the perfect ending of this virtual experience. Again, thank you, Roy, and thank you everybody at home. And we're looking forward to finding more ways to culture again with you soon. Bye.
Thank you.